Hey!
Yo, 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 yo.
I'm DJ Envy.
And I go by the name of Charlamagne, the guy with the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club.
And currently we are on vacation.
Man, totally disconnected.
Yes.
We're not even really here. You think you're listening to us, but we not.
Well, we are not. We're here in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to be playing some of our top interviews and some throwbacks. So keep it locked. Red is going to be running the boards, and we'll see you in the new year. Happy holidays. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
This is your time to get it off your chest, whether you're mad or blessed.
So you better have the same energy.
We want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
Hi, Denicia.
Hey,
Peace, Denicia.
How y'all doing?
How you doing?
Good. Look, I don't even want to be up here long. I'm on my way to work, and I wanted to say my poem this morning.
Oh, yes.
Lord.
Let's hear it.
Why did you say that?
It's entitled Remodeling My Home.
Okay. I like this. I like where this could be going. I need you to have more enthusiasm, though.
This is
Sell
already
me, sell
painful
me,
for me,
sell
right?
me.
Got it.
Sell it, sell us.
I got it, honey.
Go.
Okay. I had to divorce depression, said goodbye to pain, beat up confusion, and kicked out the rain. Stress, tried to stay complaining every day, but I said, don't look at me again. Don't even say hey. Anxiety kept trying to get back in along with this company called Sin and Gloom. Thought she still had a room. But I cleaned them all out with the biggest broom. I heard a knock at the door. It didn't sound the same. I just knew it was lie coming back to play more games. But when I opened the door, peace stood there with ease and comfort followed. Oh, I was so pleased. Power called and said he was on the way, and Joy sent me a card. I got it on Tuesday. Love, yet it was delayed, was the only one that prayed. Grace pulled up in the finest car, healing my heart of the deepest scar. Friendship came running, put her arms around my neck. Her brother came too. His name was Respect. Mercy was so kind, helping me remodel my home. Got rid of all the trash. Now the ugliness is gone.
Hey, I like that.
I like that.
That was really
I'm not
dope.
gonna lie. I dig that. I dig that.
That was
I
amazing.
dig that.
I finally got y'all. I'm so happy.
Where can people
I dig
hear
that.
or see some more of your poetry?
Well, my book's on Amazon.
Okay.
What's the name of it?
Yeah, give us more.
It's entitled The Rebirth.
The Rebirth.
Hello, who's this?
What's the deal, baby? This is Ahmad Bacardi.
Ahmad, what's up? Get it off your chest.
That ain't
brother.
your real name. Your last name Bacardi?
Yes, sir.
You're a liar.
Why is that?
Your last name is actually Bacardi, like the drink?
Yes. No, not Bacardi. McCarty.
Oh, McCarty. Okay, got you. All right, McCarty. Okay, that makes more sense.
Get it off your chest, man.
All right, what's the deal, man? I wanted to just give a shout out, man. I married the love of my life this weekend.
Congratulations,
My
King.
lady. Thank you, sir.
That's what I like to hear.
Want to shout out Keola McCarty, the new Miss McCarty.
Yay.
And I just want to say I love her.
Okay.
And shout out to the Breakfast Club, Angela Lee, DJ Envy, Charlamagne the God.
That makes
Congratulations, brother, and have a good one. Hello, who's this?
This is Romero.
Romero, what up? Get it off your chest.
Man, I'm a little hot, man. I've been trying to get into this real estate game, and they not making it easy for a brother at all. Man, I bought my first property, renovated it, got it off the ground, man, and now I'm trying to buy another one, and these prices is crazy right now. Same properties that was $90,000 is going for like $180,000, man, for 600 square feet. It's retarded.
I mean, that's what this whole pandemic did. I mean, a lot of people with the interest rates so low, a lot of people were buying houses and inventories down, so people are raising the prices like crazy.
Man, I don't know how they expect somebody to get in the game with these kind of prices, man. It's stupid, man.
It's very difficult.
Well,
I don't know, man. I appreciate y'all, though, man. Thanks for taking my call. I'm glad to get it off my chest.
yeah, there wasn't going to be no positive advice for that one. It is what it is.
It's not.
When them prices is what they are what they are.
Hello, who's this?
Oh, this is Marion Johnson.
What's up, brother?
What's
Get it off
up,
your chest.
Marion Johnson?
So you remember me, man? Cocktail party, man.
Whoa.
Ooh, okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Tell him one.
Yeah. I was just
He just said his
trying to
name.
throw my link out here. Y'all remember the male dancer?
The male dancer?
Yeah, remember I was talking about the book about the male dancer cocktail party?
No, I don't quite remember.
Y'all was talking about male dancers. A guy, if his girl went to the strip joint, and I had a house party, and what would you think about that?
Oh, got you. Yeah, okay. It's starting to come back to me now.
Yeah. I was just trying to throw the link out there. It's on ASA Publishing Corporation.com/Marion Johnson. That's Merin Johnson, or you go to Amazon and buy Merin Johnson.
Okay.
Thank you, Marion Johnson. That's a good last name you got for a male stripper. Johnson.
Johnson, yeah. But my stripper name was Black Cat.
Okay, should have been Black Johnson.
Black cat. Why was it Black Cat? Were you like walking across the stage like a black cat?
That's right. Shaking everything.
Okay.
Shaking everything.
There you go.
Okay,
All right.
Black Cat.
You have a good one. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. This is your time to get it off your chest, whether you're mad or blessed.
So you better have the same energy.
We want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
This is Mercedes calling from Indianapolis. Oh my gosh, good morning, DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlamagne. Oh my god.
Good morning.
Oh my god, can I fangirl this right quick, like just really, really fast?
Can you what?
I just need to fangirl this like really, really fast.
Stop cursing, but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Why you sound like you talking to your daughter, bro? Stop cursing.
You know, she was cursing. She cursed twice on the radio.
You said it so hard. You said it so aggressive. Like a daddy.
Oh, I listen to y'all every day. All right, I am so tired of these DoorDash customers not tipping. At least tip like $5. They're driving like 25 minutes for an order, and come to find out they only tipping $2. Do at least $5 now. Gas is too hot. Seriously, gas.
I do 20%.
Man, I'm trying to tell you. Like yesterday, I had an order that was like 30 minutes away. And mind you, the order said it was like $9. And at first I was like, I guess I'll take it. Come to find out, drive all the way up there. The customer only tips $3. So please.
See, now,
because that is 20%.
Listen to what Yee just said, though. You know, the order was $10. Yee says she tips 20%, which would have been $2. The customer gave you 30%, $3. So what would you expect the customer to tip on a $10 order?
On a $10 order, at least tip $5. At least $5. Because sometimes
$5? Okay.
For $5, I'm going to go get it myself. $5, I'm going to go get it myself.
You know what, though? I would never order anything on DoorDash for $10.
Some people do.
I didn't think they delivered for $10.
I never did it.
Yes, they do.
I never would do that. Because there's also like a processing fee. There's a processing fee on top of that, right?
Nah,
Because
if you're a
they
member,
charge you just... Yeah, I'm a member.
If you're a member, they don't charge you.
That gets rid of the delivery fee, but there's still a processing fee and all of that.
Yeah, now my
It's
son,
not
he
just a
delivers,
flat what it would cost.
he delivers one meal all the time. Chipotle,
I
Shake
just want to give
Shack,
a
all
shout
that.
out right quick. I just want to give a shout out to my friend Nicholas in Georgia, and a shout out to my husband who's in jail right now, but he gets to listen to y'all. You guys have a great day and stay safe.
All right.
Will do, Queen.
You too.
Hello, who's this?
Yo, this is Caesar.
Hey, what's up, bro? Get it off your chest.
Hey, Caesar.
I meant to use an anonymous name. Hey, everybody.
Too late.
Oh, my goodness.
Charlamagne.
Peace.
Do you want to change your name now?
Yeah, man, I just need to get off my chest real quick. I'm sorry for cutting you off, because I don't like when Charlamagne and Envy do that to you. But yeah, let me get off my chest. I don't like when people be trying to take. Excuse me. I don't like when other people be trying to take other people back and still hold like a grudge against it. You know, like for example, if a dude cheats on a girl. And he like, I forgive you, I take you back. But like months, weeks, years down the road, you still like throwing it back in my face. That's like, come on now.
So this just happened.
What are you doing?
This just happened to you, Caesar?
I mean, yeah, but this is like some long ago type stuff, you know. But I'm talking about like even nowadays, you know, like I see my partners go through it, vice versa. I see females go through it with guys. It's like, hey, don't take them back if you're not going to 100% forgive them, you know.
Well, I would say this: sometimes things trigger you, you know. So you might have forgiven somebody, but that doesn't mean that you completely forget it. And so there might be certain times when you fall back into some old habits. It takes a long time to build up that trust. So it's an effort on both people's parts, though. I do agree you can't just keep on beating somebody up after you said, let's work on it. But every now and then, you know, you don't intend for it to happen, but you get a little mad.
You're right. We all human. We all get trying to, you know, live our best lives out here. I feel you.
Well, thank you, bro. Good luck, man. Get it off your chest. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have a special guest on the line right now, Kalani.
Hi.
There you go.
Hey,
Welcome.
Kalani.
Peace.
Her first time on the Breakfast Club. This is amazing.
Oh, I know.
Why you look
So you're
nervous?
like-
Don't look nervous. We're good people. We're nice people.
Sure, I just never did it before.
Well, you know it's important because you have the album. It was good until it wasn't. So we had to make sure that we got you on. So you announced that you were putting out this album on your birthday. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So how are you doing just mentally right now, physically? We know coronavirus. There's a lot going on. Are you good? Is your family good?
I'm good, yeah. I have a 1-year-old. She just learned how to walk on her, around her birthday, which was in March. So just trying to finish up at my house and do all the kind of the things that I would normally be doing outside, like, these press runs or music videos or things like that. Doing it from inside my house has been a challenge, but it's been super fun. So I'm good.
How did your child help you evolve? How did your 1-year-old help you evolve as a human?
She's made me super patient, and I think that she also makes me kind of be able to stay grounded in situations where I would normally get really anxious or get nervous or just kind of feel like things are getting to becoming too much. You just look at this tiny human and just realize she has no idea what's going on, and he's like, okay, let me get on your level and just relax.
How are you staying sane during all this? Because you can't leave. It's not like you'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna leave for a little bit. There's no leaving for a little bit.
I have a gratitude list that I literally run through. It's like a anxiety combating thing that I do with myself, where I'll run through literally head to toe the things that I'm grateful for, from having 10 toes on my feet to hair on top of my head and just my eyes working and things like that. So every time I'm anxious, I just do that and I'm fine. So
Good.
Kalani, I deal with anxiety too, but I'm going to tell you something. You got a 1-year-old now, so enjoy it. Because when they get older and they start going to school, your parental paranoia going to go through the roof.
I mean, I feel that. I'm the oldest of 5 siblings, so I kind of already experienced that to a small degree. I know it's nothing compared to me having my own child, but to some extent, I know how that felt just when my little siblings started getting out the house and going and doing it. So.
And California is opening back up and everything. So what are your thoughts on that? Because they are saying Friday certain things will be open up. We know the parks are open. When are you going to feel okay, I can go to the park?
I'm not going outside.
Smart.
I don't think that everybody rushing outside at the same time is smart. So I'm going to just wait it out and just give myself more time. And I have a daughter to think about at the end of the day. So,
Recently, I know that you, Kamaya, and Keisha Cole did a record, and there was a misunderstanding with that record. What happened with that record? What was the situation?
Well, me and Kamaya did a joint project, and we had completed everything for the project. It was a really long, kind of exhausting, situation. I had pushed my album back for the project, but we had got it done. And when it got to the final decisions, we just weren't agreeing on certain decisions. And I got kind of tired of being talked to very, very, very aggressively. So I just withdrew kind of quietly. And I think that was kind of confusing. I'm not sure. I put a snippet up of the song that had Keisha Cole on it on social media, maybe this month, months before the project was ever even supposed to come out, just to kind of get some energy towards it. I had let the snippet go quiet. The fans brought the snippet back up. After the project already wasn't a thing, the fans brought the snippet back up and made it this huge viral thing, which I don't even know how that came about. And I quote tweeted it and said, "Oh, do y'all want this? Prove it." And then they went crazy again. Reached out to Keisha. Keisha was still down to be on it. She tried to speak to Kamaya. They fell out because of that. Kamaya basically felt like if she wasn't on it, then the song shouldn't be out. But I wrote that song in the span of us doing our project. And I even tried to reach out during the process, hey, I know you didn't write on this song. You only wrote your verse, but I still want to do good business because we did it in our sessions that were for just us together. So I'd still like to give you publishing. I'd still like to do the proper business behind it. I got a really negative response, a really aggressive, violent response. So I just stepped away further, stepped away quietly like I did before. And I put the song out, and things just accumulated after that. Just the response accumulated every single time. Even, when this was brought into the public very recently, I just responded how I responded in private, which was, if you want to have an adult conversation about it, if you want to have a basic conversation about it, I'm not tripping. And it just kept getting met with this just aggression, and just at some point I just had to let it go,
Right. All right, we have more with Kalani when we come back. Don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Taking you back with the classic rewind. It's the Breakfast Club.
I thought this was a podcast.
The Breakfast Club. If you missed The Breakfast Club,
You don't come from my world. It's dangerous.
check out this rewind.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Kalani. Yee.
Kalani, for you moving forward, right? You think you would want to be in an open relationship? Because that's something that you discuss. So is that something you feel like that's what you can envision?
Well, I mean, to be honest, the last one was kind of open, and I think that's what the big deal was about the situation that had happened, was because I did give this space for communication and it to be open, and it wasn't kind of honored, which kind of made it worse when you're like, hey, I low-key am saying, and shit can go down as long as everything's communicated and everyone's adult, because I know how this life is, and I'm not really a big tripper off of most things in general.
You wasn't mad at the
need an
cheating. You was
explanation.
mad at the communication. There was no communication.
Yeah, it was a lot of lies and a lot of covering up, and that's what I'm saying when it was like deep and it was like intricate. It wasn't like a simple, like I found out the basics of something. It was deep and it was intricate, and it was like a big weaving of something that turned into something else that just like, that's why I never spoke up on the outside the club thing, because that wasn't something that mattered to me. That wasn't a rule-breaking situation. I was like, I just don't feel like getting online and deeply explaining that is not a situation that matters to me. Then I got to deal with everybody, coming at my mentality about an open relationship. So,
Gotcha.
Could
Okay,
you define what open is? Because I'm old. I need to know what open means.
I mean, I think it's whatever boundaries you guys set with each other. If you decide to, like, what matters to you, it's like, if it doesn't matter to you if you can date other people, that doesn't matter to me. It's like each one of those relationships has to be set by each little rule with the two people. Like, it's not like a formula for an open relationship. Like, you have to go through each individual step with those things. So I personally can't define an open relationship for anybody else.
So for
What
you
about
though,
yourself?
if I fuck somebody else when I'm with you, is that is that part of your open relationship checklist?
I think it depends on what type of sexual relationship that you're having outside of mine. I'm very, very, very big on sexual safety and sexual health.
And honesty.
Big on honesty. I'm very big on communicating it thoroughly and all parties involved giving consent for it and being in the know of what's going on. Like, if there's 3 parties and, there's 3 people being sexually active with each other, they need to be on fully the same page. They need to all be fully on the same page health-wise. Just all of these things, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, honesty, everybody being on the same page, everybody being 100% in the know, nobody being left out, and that's that.
And so it was okay for you to see other people as well, though, because sometimes for guys, an open relationship is them doing them, but you not.
Yeah, he wasn't super down, but I also wasn't interested. Like, he was like, I don't like the idea of that, but if it comes up, he was like very, like, he just, I don't know how to explain it. He was a guy. So if it comes up, but it never came up because I just wasn't interested. I'm so busy with my daughter making an album, and with the relationship that I did have, it wasn't a thing for me.
Would he mind you being with other women?
Yeah, because honestly, he wasn't, he doesn't have this weird kind of like masculine, awkward look at like sexual or romantic relationships with women. Like, he wasn't like, it's a girl, so it don't matter. He was like, no, you really like girls. You can really fall in love with girls. So like, I don't need you going and falling in love with
I don't
them.
blame him. Yep. Girls could do a lot of other things that I don't know how to do. She could eat better than I can. She could do a lot of I get it.
I think it's more so the emotional connection he was scared of. Because I'm thinking you saw some text messages from YG, and those text messages were a little bit too emotionally connected. Whoever he was reaching out to, they was a little bit too emotionally connected for your liking.
They were just intricate and strategic and dishonest. I wouldn't even say they were extremely deep. They were just it showed me a side that I didn't want to see.
You wait till I see YG. How you up an open relationship, YG?
Well, Kalani, I can't wait till we get you in person. Now, we all comfortable with each other. So, and I want to talk more when the album's out right now. So make sure you guys get it. I think for anybody going through whatever they're going through, there's a song for you on this album that you can relate to. And I think that's what makes it such an important piece of work. So congratulations.
Yes, congrats. Thanks for joining us this morning. All righty. Well, it's the Breakfast Club. It's Kalani.
Taking you back with the classic rewind. It's the Breakfast Club.
I thought this was a podcast.
It's topic time.
Pick up the phone, baby.
Call 800-585-1051 to join into the discussion with the Breakfast Club.
Talk about it.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, if you just joined us, we're talking about a story we reported during our front page news about a pastor in Brooklyn. You want to break it down, Yee?
Yeah, Bishop Lamar Whitehead, he was in the middle of a sermon. It was live streaming when 3 masked gunmen broke in with their guns and stole $400,000 worth of jewelry from him and his wife. Maybe from some churchgoers, too. We don't know where all the jewelry came from. But he did have on some rings, a chain.
Right. So when we reported the story earlier today, people were like, well, I mean, why the hell is he wearing $400,000 worth of jewelry in Brooklyn in the middle of a recession with all the wolves out and people are starving?
Those people are right.
Me, myself, yes, it wouldn't be the smart decision to wear $400,000 worth of jewelry, but that's his right. He works hard for it. He can wear whatever he want to wear, right? That's what life is about.
And they can rob whoever they want to rob, and they're going to rob the people that they see out here, and they're going to rob the people who they see out here flossing and stunting. The reality is, if you're going to spend $400,000 on jewelry, you should have security, and that goes for any pastor. That goes for anybody who wants to wear those kind of luxury things. Have security protecting you. That's it. Simple as that. And I feel like churches should have security, period. We've seen enough mass shootings happen in churches and places of worship nowadays that things like that should be prevented by having armed security in the churches anyway. If you're going to spend that kind of money on your cars and that kind of money on your jewelry, how about spend on keeping your congregation safe?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like if that pastor works hard, he can spend his money on whatever he wants to spend his money. You know what I mean? If he wants to,
who's debating that?
Diamond crown and wear a diamond crown, he should be able to and not worry about getting robbed.
No, that's not how this works, MB.
That's how it should work. That's life.
I don't care how it should. Let me ask you a question. You gonna do things how they should or how things are?
Well,
exactly. I don't want to pay taxes. We should not have to pay taxes because black people built this country for free. But no, because I'm not going to jail. All right? I'm not going to have the IRS knocking at my door. All right? So my point is, yes, people should be able to wear what they want to wear without being robbed, but that's not the reality of the situation. So if you're going to spend $400,000 on some jewelry, spend $350 on jewelry and $50,000 on security. All right.
Say, Yee?
I mean, of course, I would hope that something like that wouldn't happen. It's like when somebody's driving a nice car and then they blame you for getting carjacked because why were you driving such a nice car?
Yes, yeah. So why? I can't drive a nice car?
In this, in this neighborhood. So I get that, and it's a shame that something like this had to happen. Me personally, I live in Brooklyn, and I don't even own jewelry worth that much money, and I mostly wear costume jewelry anyway.
You know what, Yee? You smart. You giving out the right message this morning.
So that's just for me personally. But I would think in church, you would hope that would be a safe haven, but unfortunately it's not. And, I'm sorry that something like this had to happen to him. And like he said, his congregation is traumatized from this experience. And I feel like he's gotten a lot of press lately. And the way that they talk about him in the media, the flashy, and right. I think that's why that's why he was targeted, because of how the media has put him out there for things that have happened, in the past.
You just told Brooklyn, look, man, I know y'all hear me on the radio. I know y'all know I got these businesses, but there ain't nothing over here for y'all to get, bro.
All my money is in my businesses. Like, I'm still trying to make some money.
That's right. We get it, Yee. We get it, Yee.
I got on costume jewelry right now.
I believe you.
You gonna be like, look, my
not real gold earrings.
That car I drive ain't even a real car. It's a fake car too. Goodness, it's all plastic.
These people out here ruthless. They robbed Amy from Jeopardy. They heard about Amy winning all them goddamn prize winnings, and they robbed Amy, bro.
Not Amy. Hello, who's this?
Man, this is the Pre from Omaha, Nebraska. What up, Angela Yee and Charlamagne Gandhi, the Envy?
Peace, King.
Man, they was wrong for going in there robbing that pastor like that in that church. But my whole thing, did they take $400,000 off the church, off the pastor, or was that just collectively with the
jewelry?
Well, we don't know. It sounds like he had jewelry, but if you really think about it, let's say the pastor bought himself a nice watch, right? Everybody's wearing a Richard Mille. Maybe he bought a Richard Mille watch. That watch could be $200,000-$300,000 right there. So it ain't a lot of jewelry. He just got a watch on. And if his wife got one on and an engagement ring, That's $400.
Yeah, they took their rings and everything.
Man, y'all asking the wrong questions. How much they gonna get for it in the street, man? What's that? That's how much they gonna get in the street.
Stop it, man.
How much they gonna get?
If it's a Richard Mille watch, let's say probably get about a cash about 80, 70.
But you're right. It could be their wedding bands, her wedding ring, and all of that too. And sometimes people spend money on that stuff.
800-585-1051. We're talking about the pastor who got robbed in Brooklyn while he was live streaming. They took it for his jewelry. They said $400,000. People are like, oh, well, you shouldn't be wearing that in Brooklyn anyway, doing a live sermon during the recession. But I feel like he worked hard for it. He should wear whatever he want to wear.
Man, shut up.
No.
Yes, you can wear whatever you want to wear, and people can rob whatever they want to rob. The reality of the situation is don't wear nothing you can't protect. And if you can't protect it yourself, you better hire somebody to protect it for you. All right?
Breakfast Club, good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have some special guests in the building. Yee was hating. He turned her mic off. We have Deval and Kadeen.
What's good, I don't believe it. What's up, everybody? How are y'all?
Blessed, black, and highly favored.
I love that.
They are collectively the Dead Ass Podcast.
We are.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
It don't get no more New York than that.
That's
it don't.
When we were trying to come up with the name for the podcast, we were like, that's it. It had to be Dead Ass.
What inspired the podcast?
Yo, it's funny, bro. It's
story. We got mad stories.
We do got mad stories, but it really is just like our life. Like we just two kids from Brooklyn who hustle like everybody else. And I met my best friend when I was 18, my wife here, and we just lived life together, grinding, taking chances with each other. And we wanted to just show people like this is how fun marriage can be. Even though there's some tough times, but it's just fun. Let's talk about the real times. Like I'll give you an example. When I first met my wife, this was in 2002. We were at a banquet of our elementary school we was going to, and Pam Oliver was hosting. And Pam Oliver, she was reading down the list of accomplishments. Deval Ellis got a scholarship to Hofstra, aspires to play in the NFL. If you want to do that, you're going to have to grow and gain more weight. And then she was like, like one of those cocky laughs. You know, like,
the reporter laughed.
Like, it was real condescending, and I was kind of like,
you're going to have to get your weight up.
Yeah, I was like, and I'm like, yo, she laughing at me, right? So me and my wife wasn't together at that moment.
Right. That's the day we met, though.
That's the day we met.
Yeah.
So fast forward 4 years. Now I get a tryout with the Lions, make the team. My first home game starting was against the Jets. It all comes full circle. My family's in the stands, and the Jets, they looked out for me. They got my wife down. At the time, it was my girlfriend. She got her down there on the stadium, and she's on the field with my mom, and they're like, yo, your mom and your wife's down there. Tell her to take some pictures, get up there. Right, so I'm down there. As soon as I come down, I see my wife, my girlfriend at the time, and she's like, yo, you see that bitch Pam Oliver's over there? And this is 4 years later, and I'm like, yeah, I see her.
I was like, you remember number 80?
Oh, you pressed Pam Oliver?
Yeah, check this out. She says to me, I'm supposed to be returning punts, and she called me over. I'm like, she see Pam Oliver? I'm like, yeah. She said, you gonna go say something to her? I'm like, I can't. I'm about to play a game. She said, you don't got to, because I already did. So I'm like, that's why you my So this is in the middle of MetLife Stadium. Yep. 3 pounds, bang, bang. Me and her body bump in the middle of MetLife Stadium right before a game. My coach is like, Deval, get your ass over here. But it's just two Brooklyn kids. Like, we got so many stories.
You remember number 80 that you said needs to get his weight up, that he would never make it to the NFL? Well, he's right over there.
And what did she say?
And I gave her the laugh, too.
What did she say?
And she was like, no way. Are you kidding me?
I never said that.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said that.
Like, yeah, you
what
did.
If she'd have took her wig off and slapped you?
They'd have been in there brawling. They'd have been in MetLife Stadium brawling.
It'd have been a problem.
And not for nothing, though, shout out to Pam Oliver, because she's a pioneer in what she does.
Absolutely.
She was being honest. Yeah. I was 5'8", 140 pounds.
She was really like,
somebody dream.
Facts. Yeah, that's how I felt.
You can give constructive criticism, but don't just be like, you'll never. You'll never.
But yeah, he does it all the time.
No, I don't do that. I don't tell somebody they'll never be able to do something.
Son,
I give constructive criticism and tell them
tell them don't quit your day job, stop rapping.
But that don't mean never. That just means like, look, constructive criticism is like you might want to find something else to do.
I can respect that too.
I can respect that.
Deval, you said you booked 2 jobs, and I heard on one of the podcasts you guys are talking about how the dynamics of your relationship have changed. Let's talk about that, because it is different now, right? Because Deval is gone for periods of time, and y'all not physically together. So how has that changed your relationship?
It's kind of changed our relationship in a little bit. I mean, we just came out of a pandemic where we couldn't do nothing, so we was on each other all the time. But I mean, the time to miss each other kind of took us back to college in the league. Because when I was in the league, I'd be gone for weeks, I'd be gone for months. And during those times, we really, really missed each other. So when we came back, it was fireworks.
Right. I think we need that. Being together for 18 years, almost 19 years, we definitely need a space. So him being away filming for a couple weeks at a time, that gives me time to, rejuvenate the sexy and whatnot and, rebuild that, wanting to see each other. Like, it's necessary when you've been with somebody for so long. It's very necessary.
How long were you in the league?
4 years.
Okay. So you don't get the pension?
Yo, I missed it by 3 games.
3 games.
Bro, I learned a lot about like ownership and finances through the NFL, bro. Like they find ways. For example, it's all about cheaper, younger talent, right? So I played for the Lions for 3 years. I got picked up by the Browns, got released, and my agent told me like, yo, it's gonna be hard for you to get back into the league. And I was like, what you mean? He was like, whoever picks you up now is gonna be responsible for your pension from now until you're done. So for them, it's like I might as well just go get a rookie, pay them the league minimum, rather than having to pay you $1 million to do the same thing. And from a business standpoint, I get it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? From a business standpoint, from an ownership standpoint, I get it. But from a player standpoint, I'm like, yo, this is jacked up. But that's what the CBA is always fighting for. They're always fighting to make sure players are taken care of. So at that point, I made a decision. I didn't want to play ball no more. I wanted to focus on TV film. My wife wasn't too happy about that at the time. She was like, what?
I was like, you're about to do what? Who leaves a bag on the table? To me, I felt like, all right, well, they don't want to play you in the NFL. The Canada, I think, had some interest in him at the time.
She's trying to send me to Canada,
so I was
y'all.
like, go to Canada.
She's trying to send me to Canada, bro.
I was like, you in Detroit, you might as well just go to Canada and play a year or two. Because to me, I kind of felt like he also he wasn't able to live out his full potential playing in the NFL. So I feel like he still had more to prove. I cursed out Pam Oliver for you, and you still had more to prove.
I understand that, but this was my thing, right? I also had a functioning pain med addiction. That playing football that was dangerous for me because what people don't understand about football is you have to make it through practice in order to play. So I wake up in the morning, take 4 Tylenol before practice, take 4 Tylenol after practice, then take 2 Vicodin to go to sleep. And I'm doing that Monday through Saturday just to get through practice, and then I'm taking pain meds on Sunday. So
unbeknownst to me too, at the time I didn't even know.
At the time she didn't know. So and I didn't know how it was affecting me. It wasn't like a pain med addiction where it was like I need the pain meds on to get high. I just needed it so my body was numb so I could play ball. So I was like, man, I really just don't want to do this no more.
Have the things you're doing now filled that void that football left? Because I hear that from so many athletes. Like either they didn't make it pro, or they made it pro and it was only there for a short time.
Bro,
that was never really your dream though.
Playing football, it was always a means to an end. When I first met Kay at 18, she was like, yo, what you want to do with your life? And I was like, that. Martin was on TV. She was like, that. I was like, yo, I want to be an actor. I want to tell stories. And she's like, how you going to do that? And I told her I was going to use football as a means.
Dope.
But what happens is, when football becomes your whole life for 10 years and people are constantly giving you a structure for what your life is going to be, when that's taken away suddenly, there's no way to avoid depression, bro. It don't matter how much money you got. I got boys who got $25 million in the bank who call me and just randomly be like, yo, D, I'm not doing well. Like, what you mean? They're like, yo, it's me and my kids and my wife in the house.
They don't got nothing to do.
I don't know what to do. I'm like, bro, you got money, start some businesses. You're like, money ain't a thing to me. Like, I don't care about that. I just don't have a purpose. And that's when we also started, talking about black men's health on the podcast, because we don't talk about that. Like, and I know you big on that, Charlamagne, and it's good to see it be normalized now.
All right, we got more with Deval and Kadeen Ellis when we come back from the Dead Ass Podcast. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Now from the Dead Ass Podcast, we have Deval and Kadeen Ellis, Charlamagne.
Can y'all talk about that time y'all went viral when y'all had that discussion about monogamy?
What happened was we were so there was a whole story behind it. The Monday we were supposed to be shooting 4 episodes of the podcast, right?
That week, yep.
Kay and I have this thing with sex where I'm like, yo, I like when you get dressed up. For example, Kay don't dress like this every day. She knows she coming on the Breakfast Club. She put her makeup on. She got her $36 wig on, her hat.
$36 wig.
And y'all know when you marry, when you marry, sometimes you like, yo, I like when my wife get dressed up.
I ain't clipped the lace.
So Monday she dressed up.
I ain't clipped the lace.
Monday she dressed up, and I was like, yo, let's tonight let's do something. She's like, I got you tonight.
I mean, you'll be in the moment. You go to an event or whatever. So I have my little hairdo in and the ponytail. He likes the ponytail.
So she had the ponytail, and she's like, I'm gonna take care of you tonight. Monday come and go, she forget. Tuesday, she get dressed. You know how it is when you married.
When you married and then
Tuesday, So she
You
get
got
dressed
one too many
again
drinks
because
at
we
the
had
event,
the podcast. She get dressed up again. She, I got you tonight. She talking hot Tuesday night. I get home. She forget again.
She put that once you put that scarf on, you know it's a wrap,
bro. So she did it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. She promised me. She was like, bro, I got you tonight. She had this long ponytail in. She had the rhinestones on her forehead. Everything was looking nice. She was like, yo.
Was laid.
So we get home that night. I run to the bathroom. I come back. She got the stocking cap on. And she got the stocking cap on with her little ponytail hair. She took it out.
I took the ponytail
so I'm
out.
pissed,
It
bro.
was bothering me.
I'm like, yo, this all week you've been promising me that you was gonna do this. So now,
and I put on this cute little all-in-one bodysuit from Savage Fenty. He was like, "Look at you in your dry ass, dusty bodysuit." I said, "This is a perfectly brand new Savage X Fenty." Okay.
So I'm
My
pissed,
dusty
bro.
ass bodysuit.
So now I'm pissed, right? So now we have sex that night. We have angry sex, but it ain't the type of sex I was trying to have, right? So we wake up the next morning.
Is it good angry sex like Keisha and Tommy and Belly?
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good angry sex.
Okay.
But my thing is, you still put it off, and you ain't do what I asked you to do. So we wake up that morning. Now we got to do a podcast. So we get in there. We already submitted the terms we're gonna do for the podcast. So we get there like, hey, the podcast is about monogamy. I'm like, so we talking about sex, right? And it came to this point in the podcast, and I'm like, yo, let me ask you a question. If sex is gonna be a chore for you as a wife, why did you want monogamy? Right? And she was just like, you didn't want monogamy? And I was like, I did, but I felt like you kind of pushed monogamy on me. I said that, and her response was, oh, so I forced you to marry me? I didn't say that.
She moved the goalpost.
Yeah, I didn't.
You moved the goalpost.
I didn't say that.
A smidgen.
But
more or less, what was he trying to say?
But this is where I messed up, right? I was so mad, and I was being petty, and we both petty, that I didn't take it back and be like, no, babe, you didn't force me to marry you. I said, because now I'm being mad, because now I'm being petty. And I'm like, at the time when we was getting married, we weren't even agreeing on when we were going to get married, because I told you I lost my money playing ball. Mm-hmm. I had said that at that time, like, I think we should wait to get married because financially I'm not in a good spot. And she was like, I'm not waiting no more. I want to get married. So I kind of felt like, yeah, like you wanted to get married at this point. So now that you wanted to get married at this point, when it comes time to do these things as a wife and you keep putting me off, it kind of make me feel like you didn't really want monogamy. You just wanted me to do...
Sorry.
No,
27-year-old Kadeen at the time was thinking, I want to be clear about what the intentions are. What am I expecting to gain from this relationship or not? Because at that point, we've been together for 9 years. So I just want to know where we going.
Which is
and
fair.
how I got to get there. So he took that as pressure. To me, I was just stating where I stood in that time.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
So what happened after that conversation now? Now you said, so now what happens now? I need to get done for 3 more days.
No, so what happened was I said, right? And we end up having a full argument on the podcast. We get over it. The podcast comes out like 4 weeks later. We forget that we had this whole argument.
Right back.
And now we arguing about something else. And then people are hitting me on Twitter like, yo, y'all trending on Twitter. And I'm like, for what? And they just like, your monogamy comment. I just was trying to make a point. But y'all took it and y'all ran with it. But I'm like, to be honest, we people was mad. It was men versus women.
Yeah.
Men agreed with me. Women agreed with her. And it created content. But people was mad at us for a little bit.
Mission accomplished.
People were mad at us for a little bit.
Good conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I see both sides. You know what I mean? Because it's not like you want it. You're not going to creep on your woman.
I'm not. Like, I'm not doing
But you're desirable. Is all you trying to say.
I appreciate that, Charlamagne. I appreciate that.
No, I don't mean it like
that. How you do that with Kadeen right there?
Wow. His wife is right there.
Relax, kid.
He's a bad bitch. She's a bad bitch. She is.
I don't mean it like that. It's just that old adage, which you don't do, somebody else will. Not saying he would.
Wow,
Charlamagne. No, I would never say that to my wife. You know what I mean? But it's a thought sometimes. Like, I don't want it to be a chore to you.
Whoop his ass.
See, now that's the
ass,
point.
girl.
Look, Envy trying to instigate. Envy trying to instigate over.
But you see, Charlamagne,
Whoop his
I would
ass,
never
girl.
say that to my wife. Deval will say to me, Deval was just like, women out there want me. I am a sex symbol. Like, he lets me know.
Listen,
and I'm like,
this is the truth.
Okay.
This
and
is,
I agree. That's
hold
why
on.
I'm here.
And women went Kadeen as well.
Yo, now here's the thing,
I'm
Envy.
sure women be in your comments.
Envy, this is my point. Envy and Ye. When Kay says she wants something or she needs something, I make it my point to get it done because I understand that. I'm not going to disregard your feelings and your needs, because the same way you want monogamy, I want monogamy too. If I want monogamy, and I'm going to say to my wife, yo, I want to be the only person you come to for all of this. When she says she want to need something, I'm going to take care of it. So when I ask for the same thing and you constantly saying, later, I'll be like, why you always on me? It's like, damn, like,
yeah.
Why don't you do the same for me if I'm trying to do the same for you? So it's not a thing where I'm like, I could get mad chicks. It's like, yo, let's serve each other. And that's ultimately what the podcast is about. We talking to people about, I had to make a decision in my life to learn how to serve my wife so I could be a better husband. You know, like even the sex thing. You know how we figured out what happened with her sex drive?
Yeah, because we kind of had revelations over like the past 5 seasons. It kind of started where we were like bitching about what we had problems with.
We had problems,
you know?
and we was bitching about it.
And then people were talking about, oh wow, let's hear more about this because I'm having the same issues. And then we kind of felt like we had a breakthrough recently.
We figured it out, bro.
Yeah.
That conversation we had about monogamy made us sit down and be like, yo, let's figure out what's going on with your body and mine. We spoke to a doctor. We got off the birth control, and it was like night and day. August, we was having issues. She got off the birth control. September, I can't get her away from me, bro. Like, I cannot get her away from me. I'm like, I need a break.
And then in talking about that, we realized that there were so many people out there that were just like
having the same issue.
You know why that's such a good convo? Because men have fragile egos, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, if you don't want to sleep with me, I start questioning myself. Like, you'd be like Will Smith on Freshman. Why the you don't want me? You know what I mean? Like
that's literally how he was.
Yo, Charlamagne, bro, I tell you, bro. When I say I'll say to her like, yo, other chicks want me. I'm the same type of dude that my ego. I'll be like, you know how this is with my ego?
That's right.
I go to my wife and I ask for something and she's constantly rejecting me. That make me feel bad. I don't mind being honest and saying that. Like, I start looking at myself like my hair's thinning a little bit. I'm not lifting enough weights. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back in the gym. I get out the shower. I'll be looking at her like, am I looking good? Like, what's up? Like, you start to question yourself, bro.
PRF treatments. I'm like, you all right?
I don't move. We have more with Deval and Kadeen Ellis from the Dead Ass Podcast. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now from the Dead Ass Podcast, we have Deval and Kadeen Ellis, Charlamagne.
Did y'all expect the podcast to blow up the way that it did?
No, I didn't. Well, first of all, I'll say this. I was not completely signed up for any of this from jump. And because I grew up in a very traditional West Indian household where the first thing I was taught as soon as I can remember anything was, you don't tell people your business. Mm-hmm. Like, you stay to yourself. Anything that happens in this household, in this family, stays in the house. You know, but Deval and I started to do the videos. They picked up some traction. We were also trying to... He had the foresight to see.
Let me tell you, bro.
But I was just not with it in the very beginning.
This is my belief. I believe that there's a delusional quality that all successful people have. Mm-hmm. When I started this whole thing with social media, I told her, I was like, yo, I want my own sitcom. I want to do TV. I want to do this. But I'm not going to sit back and wait for somebody to pick me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not going to do that. So I'm going to create my own content. I created this social sitcom. It was 15-second videos. And I continue to stay consistent. One of the big people who was very inspirational in my life was 50 Cent, right? Because he was the one that said to me, if you stay consistent, when something pop, you got a catalog.
That's right.
And I also respect 50 because, you know, he hit me with the Hollywood, yeah, we gonna work. And I got a story about Charlamagne, too. We at the Sorry to Bother You tape.
It was a screening.
The screening, right?
Yeah.
I catch eyes with Charlamagne catch eyes with me, and I could see in Charlamagne's face that Charlamagne already knew, like, this looked like the type of that's gonna run up on me right now, right?
Either that or he thought you was cute from what he said earlier, but go ahead.
Very desirable.
Desirable. So Charlamagne walked by me, right? Now, I was like, yo, Charlamagne, what's good? He gave me a pound, whatever. I was like, yo, let me holler at you. He was like, all right. Right? So we walk outside.
I was like, I don't like his tone, Deval.
So I'm like, yo, Charlamagne, me and my wife got a podcast coming out. We doing this, we doing that. He's listening. He's like, He was like, I was like, yo, I was wondering, you know what I'm saying? I want to get on the Breakfast Club so we can talk about it. He was like, yeah, take my, let me get your phone. I'm going to give you my number, right? So he takes my phone, right? And he puts all the numbers in there, and I close. I'm like, good looking. You know, I didn't want to keep him too much, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot going on. Charlamagne walk away, right? We get outside. I look at my phone. He only put 9 digits in there, right? He only put 9 digits in there, right? So
I was like, did he do that on purpose? I was ready to go back in there and come after you. I was like, you forgot a digit, Charlamagne.
Kate gonna hit me with the Kate gonna hit me like, yo, he tried to stun on you.
Yo, he played you.
He tried to swerve you like he was a bad bitch. She's like, I'm going back inside. I'm like, nah.
Now who's the bad bitch, right?
I definitely didn't do that on purpose.
So this is the thing, though. I said, real talk. Charlamagne probably get people that do 2-minute pitches every single day. I was like, I understand the game. People have to see what you bring to the table for you to get opportunity. I said, if this ain't our moment, this ain't our moment. So then,
things did take off though.
Hey, I'm definitely not that guy. I pay attention to everything because you never know what's gonna be what.
Yeah, that's true. Which is true. But I wasn't mad.
I was gonna say another thing on another episode. Y'all were talking about that, right? Deval, you being called a simp, Kadeen, you being called submissive. But that is important in relationships. That's kind of how you should be toward each other at certain times.
Yeah, it's funny on social media. Like I'll say something in men's favor, and women will just be like, "Oh, he's sexist and he's misogynistic." But then if I say something in women's favor, then I'm a simp. It's like people are going to be triggered by whatever you say, but this is my truth. Like my life is not a monolithic version of what blackness is. Like some days I feel like as a man I should stand up for my masculinity. Some days I feel like, you know what, I can't push the patriarchy too much. Like this ain't fair. So I'm gonna say both when I think it's fair. Sometimes people be mad, sometimes people love it, but it's my truth. I'm never gonna run from my truth.
I mean, I get women all the time that are just like, Kadeen, what's your prayer? What did you say? What did you do? I was like, y'all have to understand that this is like 19 years in the making. So what you're seeing now, Deval and Kadeen that you see now, have been through 19 years worth of shit. So if we're not transparent about where we've been, things we've had, conversations we had at 27, and people want to hold us to that 1 6-minute clip, then be my guest. But we at least know that we're sharing the entire thing. So like I said before, I wasn't signed up for it. But now that I am, I feel like it's our duty to be able to have to tell people this is the entire picture here. Yeah. And then the beauty behind it is that we pick and choose what we want to share and how we want to share it.
There's no pedestals for me. The minute people put you on a pedestal and you the greatest thing, then they're ready to knock you off.
That's why I was fearful in the beginning. But I think the good thing with us, with the podcast and just even with our content in general, is that we really try to show the entire picture. Like we did a whole episode on cheating because we're like, we're gonna put ourselves out there before anybody tries to put us out there. You know what I mean? Nobody can come to us with stories now because everything's out there.
Y'all both have cheated?
So
yeah.
Me and my wife too.
And we've healed.
It's still a hard conversation to have, though.
Oh, definitely. Sure. That episode was a hard episode.
It's never an easy conversation to have. But I will say this though: if you learn to accept people and accept them to have changes in life, you don't hold people to that moment. And I've learned to not hold people to that, especially my wife. You know what I'm saying? Because I hope she doesn't hold me like that and give me grace.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give you grace.
And I was like, after 19 years, if you wasn't cheating, somebody lying. So I was like, from 18 to 30
18
now?
to 30, we've been through a lot. Through the NFL, all that stuff. We had our ups and downs. Same thing in college, because when we first got together, when we were 18, I told her I didn't want to be a boyfriend. I said, I don't want to be a boyfriend. And she was like, well, I don't want to be number 2 to nobody else. And I was like, damn, like I'm really not trying to be out here.
We met each other at like a really fragile time because I came from a very strict West Indian household, so I couldn't go out, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't date, I couldn't do anything. So when I got to college, I was ready to have fun, you know, and he had just gotten to college too, and he was ready to have fun. And then we met each other and like just couldn't. A lot of times it was like trying to put a square peg in a triangle hole because it's like we're trying to make this work because we want to be together, but it just wasn't.
It wasn't working. And then not for nothing, I was trying to be honest and tell her what I didn't want, but I wanted her more than anything else. And I realized I couldn't have my best friend only on my terms. And that was when I had to make a decision of, you know what, I value monogamy with her more than I value all the other aspects in life. I feel like Kadeen and I have there's a divine aura that brings us together, that we work better collectively and individually when we're together.
I was just going to say, just as individuals too, the way that both of you carry yourselves, and you're amazing people individually, but I think that's important too. And you talk about that as an individual, how you have to be able to be an independent individual before you can even be whole in a relationship.
No, that's true. And not for nothing, I think y'all have to give yourselves a lot of credit for what y'all have done for the culture, because I've heard your stories about your marriage and everything you've been through, right? I've heard Envy stories about his marriage. Kay used to send me the 12. She used to send me the 12 days of Christmas. You being a businesswoman and doing everything that you do. Y'all really, for me, what set me up to realize like, yo, I could do everything I want to do because I watch these people here do everything they want to do. Yeah.
Well, listen, man, make sure you check out the Dead Ass podcast. Make sure you get the children's book, The Ellises and the Time Machine.
Yes.
Why do we have to say Black Lives Matter? Make sure you check out Deval on Tyler Perry's Sisters.
Yes.
And everything else y'all got going on, man.
Yeah, you got Bigger coming out soon, too.
Yeah, Bigger on
Season
BET Plus. Will Packer Show Bigger.
Dope.
On that
might
season
see me
2.
in 1 or 2 episodes, too.
Okay.
And we know what Bigger was about, okay?
Make sure y'all subscribe to the podcast
That
everywhere
part.
you listen to podcasts. And what's y'all Twitters, Instagram handles, and all that good stuff?
Kadeen, I am.
And that's I am Deval, IAMDEVALE. We appreciate y'all so much. I have no
doubt.
idea.
We love you, Breakfast Club.
We
do.
appreciate y'all,
Thank y'all
too. It's
for
the Dead Ass Podcast on the Breakfast Club. Thank you for joining us.
You make sure you tell them to watch out for Florida, man.
The craziest people in America come from the Bronx and all of Florida. Yes, you are a donkey.
A Florida man attacked an ATM for a very strange reason. It gave him too much money. Florida man is arrested after deputies say he rigged the door to his home in an attempt to electrocute his pregnant wife. Police arrested an Orlando man for attacking a flamingo.
The Breakfast Club, bitches. Donkey of the day with Charlamagne the God. I don't know why y'all keep letting him get y'all like this.
Oh, it's me. It's me, Duval. Listen, Donkey of the Day for Tuesday, May 24th goes to a Florida woman named Tiana Jones. What does your Uncle Shala always say about the great state of Florida? Well, the craziest people in America come from the Bronx and all of Florida. And I'm starting to think, and this is just my own personal opinion, that I probably formulated while I was high off about 15 milligrams of an edible, but I'm starting to think some of this stuff we see online is actually just alternate realities. You know, if you're a Marvel head like myself, you are familiar with the multiverse. I believe certain things we see on Instagram are from another Earth, Earth 838. Okay, we are on Earth 616. 2 different Earths, but if you don't know you're looking at Earth 818 while you're on Earth 616, then you will be confused and you will think that these people actually exist amongst us, which keeps us in a constant state of anxiety. Okay, we are a United States of anxiety because of what we see on Earth 818. Actually, it's not Earth 818 we're looking at, it's Earth 666. Okay, planet of the beast. All right, nothing but the devil. In fact, it's Satan's anus, and there's a rash around it. Might be monkeypox, not sure. But this woman, Tiana Jones of Florida, was arrested after calling 911 because McDonald's employees got her Happy Meal order wrong. You heard me right. Tiana Jones was upset that McDonald's in Florida got her Happy Meal order wrong. Tiana is 22. I know what you're thinking. She's way too big and grown for a devil damn Happy Meal, but it might not have been for her. She placed an order online, which I didn't even know you could do at McDonald's, but it is 2022, so it makes sense. She ordered a Happy Meal, a filet of fish, tea, fries, and a chocolate shake. Exactly. Watch this value meal get all up in your guts. Okay, French vanilla butter pecan comes out your butt. Now, what does one do when McDonald's gets their order wrong? Well, to be honest, when she arrived at the drive-thru, she was directed to pull up to the 3rd window, but you know you can't give nobody in Florida direction. Okay, they don't take directions in Florida. Jones ignored the directions, parked her car, and entered the restaurant to address the mistake. Now, I keep telling y'all we must keep in mind we are discussing Florida here. So when discussing Florida, just know that the way you would address a wrong order at a fast food spot anywhere else in the world is not the way Floridians would. Would you like to know Tiana's definition of addressing the mistake? Let's go to Fox 13 for the report, please.
Thursday night, the drive-thru at this McDonald's. Detectives say when 22-year-old Tiana Jones got the wrong order, her frustration exploded into frenzy.
They have it ready, but because it was a special order, they confused some things, and they asked her, pull up to window 3. We'll fix it for you really quick. Well, she got McMad.
And stormed inside, her temper getting hotter and hotter by the second until she called 911.
I'm at McDonald's. I'm 5 months pregnant. These people don't know how to run a McDonald's. Come on. I want my money. They trying to treat me out my money. I want my money.
The sheriff says Jones' sister tried to get her to chill. Nope. Employees offered to reimburse her. Didn't work. She flipped out even more, whacking a sign off the counter that barely missed hitting an employee. Then she tore into a bunch of bottles, scooted behind the counter, and went to work on stacks of cups and other supplies.
I don't know what was wrong with her that night. I don't know if she was like 2 fries short of a Happy Meal. Or maybe it was she was short of the Happy Meal completely. But she created a mess. And she acted like a McNut.
Instead of leaving with one from the restaurant, as a grand finale, she whipped up a little shake of her own.
She pulls her shirt up. There you go. There's a little twerk on the way out the door.
We live in a world full of hepatitis and COVID and white supremacy and social media and heart disease and colon cancer and World War III possibly and aliens and Juneteenth Great Value ice cream, and she calls 911 because her McDonald's order was wrong. Okay? Listen to the 911 call. Listen.
I'm at McDonald's. I'm 5 months pregnant. These people don't know how to run a McDonald's. Come on. I want my money. They trying to cheat me out my money. I want my money.
They tried to offer her a refund, by the way. She didn't take it for whatever reason, so I don't get what she's complaining about. But I remember when Flavor Flav and Public Enemy told us 911 was a joke. Okay, it's hard enough to get 911 operators to take issues with black people serious as it is, and now we wasting their time over devil damn McDonald's. Now I understand Tiana is 5 months pregnant, so the hormone changes could be one reason for this uncontrollable anger, and she was hungry, okay? Angry and a pregnant woman, woo, I understand, okay? All right, give me back that fillet of fish. Give me that fish. Okay, now, Tiana, I understand you're 22, but wrong fast food orders are a part of life. And I shouldn't have to tell you that this isn't how you react to wrong fast food orders. And what's so interesting about this is I want to know what was messed up. Okay, only thing that could piss her off like this is they forgot the Happy Meal. You can only be this unhappy if they actually forgot your Happy Meal. That makes all the sense in the world because I bought the Happy Meal because I was trying to make me or some young child happy. If they forgot the Happy Meal, then I understand you getting irate. What makes this story extra Florida is after this woman comes in McDonald's, knocks over condiments, goes behind the counter and throws stacks of cups, then calls 911 irate. She twerks on the way out. Listen to this part. You hear that little?
There you go. There's a little twerk on the way out the door.
Little twerk on the way out the door. You know what happened here. Somebody pulled up to the drive-thru playing her favorite song. Okay, might have been City Girls, but you know when your favorite record comes on, one of those Negro spirituals that touches your soul. No matter what you doing, you're going to stop and do a little jig. Okay, all I know is if you 5 months pregnant and you go to McDonald's and you order a Happy Meal, fillet of fish, tea, fries, a chocolate shake, and you twerk? Whoa. Once again, I'm not going to sit here and ask why Tiana did this. All right, there is no logic in it. It's simply Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Florida. Please give Tiana Jones the sweet sounds of the Hamiltons.
You are the donkey of the day. You are the donkey of the day. Yeehaw.
A Happy Meal, fillet of fish, tea, fries, and a chocolate shake, and you twerk? Last time I heard an order that was guaranteed to give you bubble guts like this was on Alicia Keys' You Don't Know My Name. What was that, collard greens and hot cocoa or something? That was a recipe for disaster.
Okay.
I haven't heard a recipe for disaster like this in a long time. This is guaranteed bubble guts.
Okay. The Breakfast Club, good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Okay. Right. And Cornel West, he's a brilliant philosopher.
Yes, absolutely.
He's made a huge name for himself. So it could have been done, but we're not Cornel West. So
right.
We thought maybe we can do something a bit more practical. So we went to law school.
Right.
I went to Duke. He went to NYU.
Yeah.
He wasn't passionate at all about it. I thought that I really wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
But it just didn't work out.
Yeah, and then right around that time in law school, I started experimenting with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I started smoking, I started doing Adderall, I was drinking, and, I was starting to, because the stress of law school, I never felt anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from Newark. I've seen violence. I've seen, people using drugs. Never wanted to touch a drug.
Right.
Then I get to law school. I'm like, damn, I can't take this exam.
Have you ever?
But didn't you do 3 years of law school?
3 years.
Right.
We were
and so y'all almost finished.
We were almost finished. We did with 2 years and 98% of our third year.
Right.
We had about 2 weeks left before our exams, and we were like, it, man. Let's go do stand up.
I want to go back to the law school thing. Have you ever unpacked that? Because you came up in the hood, so that seems so normal. Was it the fact that when you was in law school, you was like fish out of water, kind of?
That's exactly what it is. It felt like Alice in Wonderland. I had never seen people use drugs so openly from privilege.
Right. It's got to with you as a black man, right? Because you see people in the hood, they're usually leaning on drugs for for trauma reasons, right?
Exactly.
Right. And y'all doing this for fun? And not going to jail, boy?
Exactly, dude. It blew our minds. How can they, especially at law school, these guys are the people who are going to be writing policies, writing laws, and they're breaking the rules. And these policies are going to affect, black people. So it was like a weird sort of situation where you're like, how can I study this and know that these people are going to write these laws that affect my people, but they don't even care about the rules of the law. So now
let's get back to it. So y'all decided not to finish law school and say, F this and stand up and let's do comedy.
Yeah.
Were y'all working on comedy, or did some of the family members say y'all funny? Y'all like, let's go?
Nobody in our family said we're funny. They don't think that we're that funny. I think it was just like, I did some stand up in New York. I went to like a club. I did a club and it was just, I sucked, but I liked it.
Like, but what makes you do that? But like, you know what? Let me try comedy.
I was losing my mind. I think I was losing my mind. Like, I was literally like, drinking, doing drugs. I was like, F it, man. I'm not gonna do this law school shit anymore. And I was just losing. I was breaking up with my girlfriend at the time. She was breaking up with me at the time. And I was just like, I was on one, man. Like, it was crazy. But I was on stage, and that was the only time I felt normal. Like,
and you went to his first show?
He sent me a clip of his.
Oh, you didn't even go.
I was in North Carolina. He was in New York. So he sent me a clip of the first show, and I was like, "Yo, this is terrible. It's one of the worst sets I've ever seen." And I thought that I knew he was having like a crisis of mental health, and I was like, "Dude, man, like just do it a few more times, but get back to the books because this ain't it." But he kept with it. Like, he still kept going to the open mics, and he still kept trying to get better at it. So after like a couple weeks, he called me again and was like, "Yo, I think we need to quit law school. I think we need to go."
We.
He said we, and I was like, "You're crazy. I want to be a lawyer. I done put 3 years into this. I'm not gonna just drop it for comedy." But he was very persuasive, and then that's when I had that moment of clarity, like, "F it, man, let's just do it. Let's try it."
So he would have been a good lawyer because he persuaded you.
That's what I say. I used my 3 years of legal education just to convince him to drop out of law school.
So now, what did your mom say? Your mom, struggled to get you in good school, worked hard for you.
Yeah.
She's so excited. My boy's about to be attorneys, and you're like, "Mom, now we dropping out. We're gonna be comedians." What would the mom?
I mean, she thought we were losing our minds. I mean, she knows like our whole story, so she's familiar with our father not being there. She's familiar with the drugs. So she's like, maybe you guys should go to therapy or something like that. Make sure you think about what you're doing before you're doing it. Just being a mom. But eventually, when she saw that we were serious about it, and we were making that it made us happy. She was completely on board. Right. My dad, he thought that he was gonna get some free legal advice. Right. So once we dropped out, he got a little upset. But he's been super supportive.
I love how you said my mom knows our whole story. I like people like, my mom was my day one. Oh, really?
I mean, we can't lie to her. Like, you know what I mean? You can lie to pretty much anyone else.
Not your mom.
You can't lie to your mom. She just sees right through that shit.
All right, we got more with the Lucas Brothers. When we come back, don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with the Lucas Brothers. Charlamagne?
Do you think censorship or this woke culture that we're in right now, is that going to dilute the art?
No, I don't think so. I think that it's going to make us even more, what's the word I'm looking for? Make us like...
creative.
I think creative. You have to be creative. You have to be a little bit more considerate of... Because I think about... look, there was a period when blackface was like the top style of comedy. And people were like... you can't do blackface anymore. I'm sure the people who were doing blackface were like, this is ruining comedy. This is hurting the purity. But it's like, no. You just have to, adjust and make better comedy. I think that's how evolution works. It's like you just have to... If people are like, hey, don't make fun of trans or don't make fun of gays, and now we can't do those things, I think it makes our comedy fresher. I think it makes it purer because now you're no longer punching down. You got to be a bit more inventive. You got to just be a bit more creative and clever.
But does it really reflect reality? Meaning, like, art should get a certain type of license to reflect reality.
Sure.
Right? If you're not able to reflect reality without people offending, people saying, "Oh, that shouldn't be in a movie. It's offensive." Like, but it's a movie. I'm trying to tell a story here.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. I guess I just think like it's not just about telling the freest form of comedy, but there's also like a moral and social component to the comedy that we do. Right. Again, you can choose to be offensive. You can choose to say whatever you want, but you have to be prepared for the
backlash.
You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but for us, it's like you still got to take a risk. But
you got to.
You have to. I mean, that's art. Art is risk taking.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing a remake of Revenge of the Nerds, I heard, with Seth MacFarlane.
Right.
That movie would be considered problematic, toxic, reinforcing rape culture.
I mean, it was problematic, in the 90s.
We didn't notice.
Right. Right.
But how do you remake that for this era?
Times have changed. I feel like we have an opportunity to comment on the film in the 80s.
Right.
I think that, like they did in 22 Jump Street or 21 Jump Street,
Right.
they took an approach where it allowed for them to, create a new story, but also comment on the past. And I think that's what we want to do.
Because, see, that's my thing. Nobody's acknowledging the shift in culture.
Right.
There was a shift in culture. The stuff that you used to could get away with in music, movies, whatever, you just can't anymore. But we haven't acknowledged that.
Yeah.
It's almost like we just started handing out retroactive speeding tickets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's weird. I think there's been a shift in a number of things. I feel like there's been a shift in science. We've gone from, straight Einstein sort of relativity to sort of a quantum sort of perspective of science. And I think that that's reflective of in the internet, where everyone has a point of view and everyone feels like their reality is real. Like everyone says, we're speaking our truth. Everyone's truth is sort of legit. I mean, even if it contradicts someone else's reality. And that's quantum shit, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's perspective is legitimate.
Even flat earthers?
Even flat earthers. Like, if they believe it, why is it not? Like, they truly believe it's true. And even if you put forth evidence that, their beliefs are erroneous, they're still going to believe what they want to believe.
Right.
So you're putting yourself at a disadvantage trying to use reason to a person that doesn't even use reason.
Right.
What do you think about putting the disclaimers? You know how they've been putting disclaimers like on movies and TV shows just to give people like, okay, this was filmed during this time.
I mean, I think that that's a more effective approach than just completely banning something. I mean, I think that maybe that works. But again, I think we're assuming that audiences aren't intelligent. We're assuming that they can't differentiate between what's offensive and what's not offensive. And then you're going to have a small minority of people who go online and say, take this down. But I think what's happening now is people being very reactive to those minority voices.
Yes.
And I feel like eventually, hopefully, that there'll be like a leveling out where we're like, okay, maybe we shouldn't be that reactionary. Maybe we should have some sort of due process in assessing what we do with a particular piece of art.
Because it's a very slippery slope. Like, I even saw what they did with YG this weekend with the Meet the Fockers record, right? And I think they took it down, but then they put it back because they said if we take this down, then we're going to have to do this all across the board. It's so many things people could be offended by. Like, it's like you can't go down that road when it comes to art.
I think we need to make a distinction between offense and harm, right? Like, I think when we're assessing how we limit someone's liberty, like, is that exercise of liberty harming a person or is it offending a person? If it's harming, then I think we can take a more proactive approach to the piece of art and maybe say, hey, maybe we should consider taking it down. If it's just offending someone, like, I think you have a right to be offended. I'm saying I don't think that offense should equate to completely eliminating a work of art. I think we have to be able to process offense and have honest conversations about that which offends. Right. But I think that shouldn't result in, a boycott of someone's work of art that they've put years into. Like, if it's harmful, if it's causing violence, if it's like causing like blatant racism, then you got like blackface, for example. That was harmful to black people. You know what I mean? Like Birth of a Nation was directly harmful to black people, so it should be removed. I mean, I don't think that that's a problem. Yeah. I don't have an issue with that. But if it's just offensive, I'm like, yeah, we got to have thicker skin.
Now don't move. We got more with the Lucas Brothers when we come back. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with the Lucas Brothers. Charlamagne?
Judas and the Black Messiah. Well, first of all, y'all have done a lot more than Judas and the Black Messiah. I remember y'all from Friends of the People.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You, Little Rel,
Kevin Barnett,
God bless the dead. Yeah. Who else was on that? Jermaine Fowler.
Right. Josh Rabinowitz, Jennifer Bartels. Yeah.
Like, if you think about it now, that show should have been a hit.
It should have been, but you know, sometimes things fail to launch. I mean, you think about OKC, the Thunder, they had all the talent in the world, but they couldn't get a championship.
I don't remember what network that was. What network?
True TV.
Yeah. How you go from True TV to Oscar nominated?
It's
like God rest his soul.
Oh, is it still here? No, True TV's still here. Oh, my bad. I meant to say FOTP. God rest.
How do y'all go from that to Oscar nominated? What are the steps? What's the process?
It's a grind, man. Like, it was crazy for us because, like, we were going nowhere fast. The sketch show gets canceled, and we were like, let's just go to Lucas Bros Moving Co. gets canceled. Like, so we got 2 cancellations under our belt. We're 5 years in. We're like, so we escaped from New York in humiliation in our minds, and we go to LA, and we're like, all right, we're gonna figure this out here. We're gonna, we're gonna figure out our act. We're gonna write some. But before we went to LA, we were already like thinking about Judas. We were already right. Sort of brainstorming like some of the beats of the story. Right. Or we were just doing a lot of research around 2012, 2013. Right. We started doing a ton of research about Hampton. We didn't know how to turn it into a film, but we knew like this is something that we would like to potentially turn into a film. So we went to LA with the goal in mind of either getting a script deal to write Judas or to sell the pitch somewhere. We had ambitions going into Cali, but we were still so focused on comedy that it was sort of like a balancing act, trying to get Judas made, but also trying to like, get our comedy career, back on the right back on track. So we're in LA, we're pitching the story around town, getting no traction. People are like, this doesn't make any sense. It's not gonna make any money. It's a period piece about a black revolutionary socialist. What are you guys crazy? And we're like, yeah, all right, it. I guess maybe we are crazy. So we kind of went away from the material for a bit, went back to comedy. We were doing this pilot with FX, Killer Mike. It was for him, and that eventually went to Netflix. It didn't go to FX.
Trigger Warner?
Trigger Warner, yeah, right. So we did the pilot for Trigger Warner for FX, and Shaka King was directing it, and that's how we met Shaka. And we knew that after we got rejected from all of our pitches, we were like, I think we need to work with a filmmaker who can take this idea and make it into a film. And so that's when we're like, we gotta reach out to Shaka. And then we hung out with Shaka in our apartment in Hollywood, listening to music, just vibing on cinema. And we sort of pitched him our idea, and he said it was great. And we started to develop a beefier outline. And then, but simultaneously, Will Burson, the other co-writer and Oscar nominee, was working on his own script. And Jermaine Fowler, our boy from FOTP, he made the connection. He knew Will. He knew that we were working on our thing, and he just brought us all together. We used our story outline that we worked on with Shaka, and so Shaka and Will went together and basically rewrote Will's script using our story outline. Right. And they wrote a brilliant script, and they sent it to Ryan Coogler. Right. We didn't know that Shaka knew Ryan Coogler, but once Ryan got it, that's when things started to like pick up, because he loved the script, and he definitely wanted to make it. He wanted that to be his first project on his new production company, Proximity. Right. And so things just started to like get crazy. Yeah, at first it was like we were nowhere, and then Shaka, Will, Ryan, Charles. I'm like, what? How did all in a year that just started happening? We were like, what the? And then we went out with the script with Macro, with Ryan, with Shaka, with Will and us.
Macro financing half.
Macro financing half.
And the white man still said no.
The white man still said no. Still said we said we'll put up half the money. We're thinking it's going to be a bidding war. We think that this is we got Kaluuya, we got Lakeith, we have our stars, we have a brilliant script, we have these great producers, and still it's a struggle in Hollywood.
Think about that. All of that already attached.
Right.
Stars,
Daniel,
money,
Lakeith, Ryan,
money.
Shaka, Macro, half the money, Lucas Brothers, and the white man like, no. No.
And I don't think people realize how hard it is to get a movie made, and especially when you have a dream team like that, and you still can't get traction. Like, that's how hard it is.
And this Ryan after Black Panther.
This after Black Panther.
Lord have mercy.
Billionaire Black Panther, the hottest producer in the game, and still. But fortunately enough, Warner Bros, they put up half the money, and they wanted to distribute it. They loved the script. Right. When they let us shoot it. They greenlit it. They let us shoot it, and it just came out as perfect as I thought it could come out.
Why did Warner Brothers get it? I need white people to understand how clueless they can be. So I want to know, why did Warner Brothers get it over every other? Was it a black exec at Warner Brothers?
Niger, black execs. I mean, they get it. So Niger really, she was the key.
What's her last name?
How do you pronounce her last name? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Well, salute to you, Niger.
Kuykendall, I think. I may have mispronounced that, but she's a brilliant executive, and she was the one who she saw the importance of the film. Right. She loved the script, and she was the one who sort of just powered it through.
Right. And, yeah, salute to Naja. That's why diversity matters.
That's why it matters.
Yep.
That's exactly why it matters. Because you're telling these stories, and if you're sitting across from a group of white people, they just don't even hear it. They don't know the language. They don't know why it matters. Why this is how we had to describe Fred Hampton to white people. We're like, Fred Hampton is the velvet underground of civil rights leaders. We thought perhaps that they'll see the connection. They did.
It was like, you know how many white executives probably like, okay, Ryan Coogler's coming here to talk about doing Black Panther. Another Black Panther, really?
That's $1 billion. That was at Marvel, but maybe we could probably like try to finesse around it, I guess.
Now, I see you tweeted if you guys win Oscars, you are retiring from stand-up and you're cutting off half your family.
Yeah,
so
man.
But we were going to do that before we
I mean, we got to figure out how do we figure out who we're going to cut off?
Yeah. What family members you cutting off?
Oh, man. Just the ones who haven't talked to me in years and like hit me up for money. So like the ones who like didn't know I existed. Like oh, I'm your cousin from your father's side. Can you let me borrow $300? Like, man.
You get
that? Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's like uncomfortable because they think you got money because you got an Oscar nomination. Like, you don't get paid for this. You got to pay your way for all this. Like, you don't get extra money for an Oscar nomination. It's expensive.
Were you close with your dad while he was in jail? Were you close with your dad?
We were close at first. You know, we went to go visit him a bunch, and then we moved to North Carolina. Our mom remarried, so we sort of became distant. We grew a little distant because we couldn't visit him as much, and we weren't really calling him. And that must have been like 5 to 6 years. And then once he got out, we started to work on our relationship. But it was a lot to unpack. I mean, as we got older, we started to feel the ramifications of not growing up with a father, but more importantly, a lot of anger. The ramifications of growing up with a father who went to prison. So it's like, you just have rage. You hate the law, you hate the government, you hate all that shit, and you're trying to figure out ways to cope. And it was tough. It's still tough sometimes to speak with our dad because of so much. We missed out on so much, you know what I mean? And you can never forget how much you missed out on. Right. Like, even like to this day, I go to the park and I see a dad like throwing the ball with their son, and I tear up a little bit. I'm like, man, it's kind of, I wish I had that. Like, like it kind of sucks to know that. It's sad, man.
See, I don't know if y'all joking.
Why did you just laugh? That was crazy.
And the way he said it, man. The way
I felt the same.
I'm speaking my emotion right now, man.
It's the way he said it. I'm with you, my brother.
That was so real. Okay, continue. You tear up when you see
I tear up when I see father and sons, man. Like, I can't even like scroll on Instagram when I see people like saying, I'm like, girl, it hurts.
You want to play catch now?
Yo, shut up. Yo, shut up.
I mean, look, man, you want to go play some catch, man. You might be able to make up for, this situation.
I do have one final question. How do y'all maintain your own identity as twins?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. We don't. No, what's crazy is that for a while we tried to like establish our own identity. Right. And just like, I want to be Keith. He wants to be Kenny. We went to law school. We were just trying to do our own thing, and we just had a breakdown. And I think we realized like we're just stronger together. Right. And why do you need an individual identity? Like, why do we emphasize that so much? Like, why is that such a thing that we place an importance on? It's supposed to be normal. Like, normal is being a singleton and being an individual. And I think that's why people get so stressed out. Why is that normal? But everyone's like has a desire to get married. So or we have a desire to have a family, or there's this notion that the individual is supreme, but we rush to these group identities so quickly. We have sports teams, we have our family, we have religion, any sort of political party. We rush to these
fraternities, sororities.
Exactly. So I think we have to readjust how we see what normal is. It's not necessarily about the individual. It's not necessarily about willing yourself to greatness. It's really a community type thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that he and I kind of see that, and we're like, we have a group identity. Right. And we just so happen to look exactly alike. Right. So we're a group, but a group nonetheless.
Well, I hope y'all win the Oscar, man.
Man,
because I think y'all gonna give a phenomenal speech. I really do. I really think y'all gonna give a great speech, and I want to see y'all up there with the military jacket.
Oh my god, the military jacket and the tuxedo.
At least the pins. You gotta have the pins or something.
I think we'll keep our pins on. I'll keep the free Huey.
Thank you, brothers, for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us, man.
It's the Lucas Brothers. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
It's topic time. Call 800-585-1051 to join into the discussion with the Breakfast Club.
Talk about it.
morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, if you just joined us, we're talking about a story we reported during our front page news about a pastor in Brooklyn. You want to break it down, Yee?
Yeah, Bishop Lamar Whitehead, he was in the middle of a sermon. It was live streaming when 3 masked gunmen broke in with their guns and stole $400,000 worth of jewelry from him and his wife, maybe from some churchgoers too. We don't know where all the jewelry came from, but he did have on some rings, a chain.
Right. So when we reported the story earlier today, people were like, well, I mean, why the hell is he wearing $400,000 worth of jewelry in Brooklyn in the middle of a recession with all the wolves out and people are starving?
Those people are right.
Me, myself, yes, it wouldn't be the smart decision to wear $400,000 worth of jewelry, but that's his right. He works hard for it. He can wear whatever he want to wear, right? That's what life is about.
And correct? They can rob whoever they want to rob, and they're going to rob the people that they see out here, and they're going to rob the people who they see out here flossing and stunting. The reality is, if you're going to spend $400,000 on jewelry, you should have security, and that goes for any pastor. That goes for anybody who wants to wear those kind of luxury things. Have security protecting you. That's it. Simple as that. And I feel like churches should have security, period. We've seen enough mass shootings happen in churches and places of worship nowadays that things like that, should be prevented by having armed security in the churches anyway. If you're going to spend that kind of money on your cars and that kind of money on your jewelry, how about spend on keeping your congregation safe?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like if that pastor works hard, he can spend his money on whatever he wants to spend his money. You know what I mean? If he wants to,
who's debating
that? Diamond crown and wear a diamond crown, he should be able to and not worry about getting robbed.
No, that's not how this works, Envy.
That's how it should work. That's life.
I don't care how it should. Let me ask you a question. You gonna do things how they should or how things are?
Well,
exactly. I don't want to pay taxes. We should not have to pay taxes because black people built this country for free. But no, because I'm not going to jail. All right? I'm not going to have the IRS knocking at my door. All right? So my point is, yes, people should be able to wear what they want to wear without being robbed, but that's not the reality of the situation. So if you're going to spend $400,000 on some jewelry, spend $350 on jewelry and $50,000 on security. All right.
What do you say, Yee?
I mean, of course, I would hope that something like that wouldn't happen. It's like when somebody's driving a nice car and then they blame you for getting carjacked because why were you driving such a nice car?
Yes, yeah. So why? I can't drive a nice car?
In this, in this neighborhood. So I get that, and it's a shame that something like this had to happen. Me personally, I live in Brooklyn, and I don't even own jewelry worth that much money, and I mostly wear costume jewelry anyway.
You know what, Yee? You smart. You giving out the right message this morning.
So that's just for me personally. But I would think in church, you would hope that would be a safe haven, but unfortunately it's not. And, I'm sorry that something like this had to happen to him. And like he said, his congregation is traumatized from this experience. And I feel like he's gotten a lot of press lately. And the way that they talk about him in the media, the flashy, I think that's why that's why he was targeted, because of how the media has put him out there for things that have happened, in the past.
You just told Brooklyn, look, man, I know y'all hear me on the radio. I know y'all know I got these businesses, but there ain't nothing over here for y'all to get, bro.
All my money is in my businesses. Like, I'm still trying to make some money.
That's right. We get it, Yee. We get it, Yee.
I got on costume jewelry right now.
I believe you.
You gonna be like, look, my
not real gold earrings.
That car I drive ain't even a real car. It's a fake car, too. Goodness, it's all plastic.
These people out here ruthless. They robbed Amy from Jeopardy. They heard about Amy winning all them goddamn prize winnings, and they robbed Amy, bro.
Not Amy. Hello, who's this?
Man, this is Pre from Omaha, Nebraska. What up, Angela Yee and Charlamagne and Gandhi, the Envy?
Peace, King.
Man, they was wrong for going in there robbing that pastor like that in that church. But my whole thing, did they take $400,000 off the church, off the pastor, or was that just collectively with the
jewelry?
Well, we don't know. It sounds like he had jewelry, but if you really think about it, let's say the pastor bought himself a nice watch, right? Everybody's wearing a Richard Mille. Maybe he bought a Richard Mille watch. That watch could be $200,000-$300,000 right there. So it ain't a lot of jewelry. He just got a watch on. And if his wife got one and an engagement ring, that's $400.
Yeah, they took their rings and everything.
Man, y'all asking the wrong questions. How much they gonna get for it in the street, man? What's that? That's how much they gonna get in the street.
Stop it, man.
How much they gonna get?
If it's a Richard Mille watch, let's say probably get about a cash by 80, 70.
But you're right. It could be their wedding bands, her wedding ring, and all of that too. And sometimes people spend money on that stuff.
800-585-1051. We're talking about the pastor who got robbed in Brooklyn while he was live streaming. They took it for his jewelry. They said $400,000. People are like, oh, well, you shouldn't be wearing that in Brooklyn anyway, doing a live sermon during the recession. But I feel like he worked hard for it. He should wear whatever he want to wear.
Man, shut up.
No.
Yes, you can wear whatever you want to wear, and people can rob whatever they want to rob. The reality of the situation is don't wear nothing you can't protect. And if you can't protect it yourself, you better hire somebody to protect it for you. All right?
Breakfast Club, good morning.